Next on NBC5's El Puente, a Spanish architect's dream that could change the Dallas skyline forever. From subtitles to popcorn, find out how a local movie house is changing how Fort Worth watches new flicks. Hear the Latin rhythms taking over some of the biggest concert halls in North Texas. And find out how food is helping Hispanics learn the language of their parents. Buenos dias y bienvenidos to NBC5's El Puente. I'm Deborah Ferguson. We begin this half hour with a Dallas bridge planned for the future. It was designed by a Spanish architect. The bridge will extend the current end of Woodall Rogers Freeway across the Trinity River to Singleton. It'll improve traffic flow and put a new feature on the skyline. Here's NBC5's Ken Kaltoff.
They make terrific cantaloupe juice at Vara Produce Market on Singleton. The couple who run it now own instead of rent the place after 8 years in business. And they welcome a big new road right at their front door.
People, business, ahorrar, saving the time and the driving is good.
Famous Spanish architect Santiago Calatrava unveiled his latest suspension bridge design for city leaders.
With the arc, we signify also the idea of the gate, who means, linking one side to another and inviting the people also to traverse it, and we recreate a landmark.
Every city has an architectural icon, and this will become Dallas's architectural icon.
It could replace Reunion Tower as the dominant feature on the Dallas skyline. Drivers like it too.
I think that's a good plan. For one of these days.
And that spectacular bridge is scheduled to be open in 2008. The old Continental Viaduct will close to cars and trucks, but stay open for people and bicycles. Now let's take a look at some of the other headlines around Texas. Texas investigators are looking into several cases of dying Mexican and Central American immigrants. In early June, 3 illegal immigrants were found dead in a sweltering rail car traveling through the Houston area. The discovery followed the deaths of 19 immigrants left in a tractor trailer near Victoria. 7 people are under arrest for immigrant smuggling. There's controversy over the recent Click It or Ticket campaign. For 2 weeks, police across Texas and the country cracked down on people who did not use their seatbelt. There was a heavy emphasis on Hispanic drivers. A federal highway agency says traffic accidents are the leading cause of death for Hispanics ages 1 to 44. Police used the seatbelt campaign to try to reduce the problem. The ACLU says Click It or Ticket smacks of racial profiling. Maybe you've noticed the big orange building going up just east of downtown Dallas at Live Oak and Good Latimer. It's the first Latino cultural center in Texas. When it opens in September, it'll have a big theater, an art gallery, a meeting room, an artistic plaza. A Mexican architect designed it with a Latin American theme. Earlier this month, the new logo for the center was unveiled at City Hall. The $9.5 million project is paid for with city money and private donations.
All of you that have given money and love to this center will have something that you're leaving that's a legacy.
I think it shows that Dallas is an international city and we are a diverse city and we're ready to embrace everybody in the city.
The grand opening for the Dallas Latino Cultural Center is September 16th or 16 de septiembre, and we'll be there. The Hispanic community in North Texas has long searched for a place to watch newly released movies with a little help in Spanish. A brand new theater in Fort Worth is fulfilling that need and offering something extra. NBC5's Elsa Ramon takes us to the movies.
This brand new movie theater in Fort Worth has fresh popcorn, plenty of candy, and all of the current releases. It's Cinema Latino, and it's just like every other movie theater in the Metroplex with a twist.
Actually, I don't feel so good. He totally.
All of the movies are subtitled in Spanish.
We have the regular Hollywood movies, and we have also Mexican films.
Es una página del libro de Piglet.
There are even animated films for the kids. That's why Miguel Ruiz brought his family to Cinema Latino, even though his children speak English.
It's very important for the kids because try to remember the Spanish too and practice the Spanish.
Cinema Latino also brought in native treats like frujitos. Bimbo brand snacks, and hot sauce for popcorn, in addition to candy found in other movie theaters.
Eventually, we will get like some aguas frescas, like flavored water, in a near future.
Cinema Latino opened in May and completely sold out 10 different movies. Enrique says that is a sign this was really needed and wanted by the Latin community.
Some people was here from Dallas, so people are willing to travel all the way up to Fort Worth just to watch a movie, which means that is a big acceptance in the Hispanic community.
For El Puente, Elsa Ramon, NBC5, Fort Worth.
You may have thumbed through the pages of Latina magazine. Today, meet the Texan behind the cover girls. Also, find out how you can hold a lasting tribute to a civil rights pioneer in your hand. But next, new efforts to keep your family safe during hot summer fun. Keep it here. You're watching NBC5's El Puente. We had to log on for today's El Puente factoid. According to Nielsen Net Ratings, 40% of Hispanic households have internet access. That's far short, though, of the 70% rate for non-Hispanic homes. But things are changing. ComScore Network says in April of this year, 12 million Hispanics were online, and that's up 7% from late last year. By comparison, overall internet growth in the U.S. only increased 2%. Because of the growth, many companies are now launching Spanish-language websites. Many families will head to pools and local lakes this summer, but not all North Texans are as prepared to be around water as they should be. According to the National Safety Council, drowning is the second leading cause of death among people ages 1 to 24. Andres Rizzo of the American Red Cross says messages of safety and prevention are not well communicated among Hispanic families.
Know how to deal with that. We don't even think about it can be that danger. We don't have precautions. Nobody tells us, nobody educates us. So that's what we're trying to do, educate the community.
The American Red Cross offers swim programs in Spanish once a month. Drownings among Hispanics in Fort Worth lakes have dropped by more than 50% since the programs began.
This stamp.
People across America are applauding and running to post offices from California to Texas. 10 years after his death, Cesar Chavez is being honored with a new stamp. The civil rights leader improved the conditions of migrant farm workers over decades of peaceful protest. Chavez's son was at the recent unveiling at Cesar Chavez Primary School in Fort Worth.
My father was when everything is said and done, he was a regular man. He wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He didn't have the opportunity to go past the 8th grade in school. He never made a lot of money. We know that the stamp can serve as a vehicle to educate future generations of people about my father's life and work, and to that end, try to keep his legacy, moving forward.
And that gets a stamp of approval. Arizona and California now have statewide holidays honoring Chavez, and there's a push to make it national. A Roe-Bean Cafe in Dallas is giving local Latinos a serving of good food and a second chance at speaking Spanish. We'll give you a taste coming up.
Because coming up on El Puente, we'll hear two contrasting but caliente Latin artists who recently visited mainstream venues in the Metroplex.
It used to be that if you wanted to hear música latina, Latin music in North Texas, choices were slim. Only a few nightclubs played it. But now some of the biggest venues around Dallas-Fort Worth are featuring the hottest names in Latin music. NBC5's Maria Sotolongo has your front row ticket.
Two contrasting types of Latin music recently filled places like this, the Dallas City Hall Plaza. Well, the two artists might sound different, but get this, they've both made it a point to perform in the Metroplex twice in the past 6 months alone, proving the growth and influence of música latina here in North Texas. This is the hip-hop of the Cumbia Kings from Corpus Christi. And this, the rock from Colombian singer Juanes. But rather than performing in predominantly Latin nightclubs as they've done in the past, these artists are now strutting their stuff in mainstream venues. Juanes filled the capacity at the next stage in Grand Prairie, while the Cumbia Kings made everyone dance at the Dallas City Hall Plaza, doing what they've loved for years.
Here we are 7 years later, and like 38 or 39 awards, every major award, and millions of albums sold, and we're super happy.
Juanes also has reason to be happy, with 4 Grammys under his belt and performances everywhere from California to Spain.
I think just the opportunity to share it with the people, with the audience, the energy and the love, and the music. I think that's the most important thing.
And how important is crossing over for these artists?
I think I play guitar in English, I think, because I have a lot of influences that come from the rock, side, for the Anglo side. But I want to, keep just singing in Spanish because it's my language,
Being able to do something fresh, something new, and bring something, the public is always looking for something fresh and something new.
Keeping their Latin rhythm, but fusing different styles, these artists plan to continue reaching out to bigger audiences and more diverse music fans. This summer, if you want to catch some Latin music, the Annette Strauss Artist Square in Dallas will feature Tejano Wednesdays, sponsored by NBC5 and Telemundo 39, with music from Ruben Ramos, June 25th, David Lee Garza, July 2nd, Gary Hobbs, July 9th, and Joe Lopez on the 16th. And these concerts really are ideal para toda la familia, for the whole family. For El Puente, I'm Maria Sotolongo, NBC5.
What fun. We've sampled some great music. Now get your taste buds ready. One of the newest restaurants in downtown Dallas combines a taste of Mexico with the newest trend in restaurants. I'll take you there after the break. But first, here's an event you might want to attend. The Greater Dallas Hispanic Chamber hosts the Hispanic Expo at the Dallas Market Center on August 9th and 10th. The number to call is 214-521-6007. We'll be right back. Monica Green has produced 2 of the best and most popular restaurants in Dallas. There's Monica's in Deep Ellum, and there's also Ciudad in Oak Lawn. Now she's brought her brand of comida mexicana to downtown with a new restaurant called Pegaso Cafe Mexicano y Taqueria. And Monica Green is with us right now to talk about this new restaurant. Congratulations.
Thank you so very much.
This is a beautiful place right smack on a downtown street corner.
I call it in the heart of downtown.
The heart of downtown. Well, what was it, Monica, that made you decide you wanted to come to downtown? Because some people might be a little hesitant to open up a new business down here.
Of course, there's some very smart operators that tend to go to North Dallas and other places around the Metroplex. I believe that downtown is prime for the development of this area. Downtown has, for many, many years, been neglected. And finally, I feel that the civic leaders, together with some very ambitious and visionary private owners of buildings and would-be investors, have suddenly realized that we need to do something about this. And together with the art that is happening around downtown, with the Art Museum and the new Sculpture Center coming up, I think we're ready.
And you decided to jump in on, now we've been talking, somebody has brought us a couple of your dishes here. And immediately when I walked into this place and realized it was in downtown, I thought, okay, you've got a downtown lunch crowd, time is of the essence, so you've got to be fast, but yet you have quite the reputation already of serving good food. So how do you combine the two? Because good food sometimes takes time to prepare.
This is a new concept. It's called fast casual, and operators all over this country are focusing on this. There is a need between the fast food, frozen style food, and the regular little, mid-price restaurant. And between that, there was a big gap. And we have understood that. Now we provide fast food that happens to be freshly prepared, in many instances like ours, not only original, but indigenous of a specific area.
Okay, what do we have here?
We have what we call our quesadilla with carnitas. And this particular is pork that has been marinated slowly in banana leaves, very, very tender. And we serve it in the way we eat it in Mexico City, which is very small tortillas. This particular is called the torta cubana. Mm-hmm. And during the 60s especially, a lot of our Cuban friends, refugees, that moved to the United States and to Mexico, started developing their own traditions down there. And this torta happened to have that kind of a special recipe, and it has become a folklore in Mexico to eat a good torta cubana. And it's a special Mexican bread with salami and sweet cheese and ham and pickles and mustard and a little bit of black bean spread. And
well,
there you have it.
It looks great, and I know you opened at the beginning of June. Business has been fantastic so far. Pegasus is located right here at the corner of Main and 13th, right?
It's 1302 Main Street between Acker and Field, almost at the corner of Field and Main.
Well, congratulations, and
Thank
I know
you
it'll
so
be a
much.
hit, and I look forward to eating here many times.
Please do.
Many people assume that a person of Latin descent can habla español, can speak Spanish. But there are a lot of people in North Texas who have names like Ayala or Garza or Garcia who do not speak the language. For them, the Language Cafe has opened up. Food brings people together.
Cóctel de camarones.
So, to Montana Walsh, it made perfect sense to serve Spanish lessons at the dinner table. It's how she learned the language while living in Mexico.
I knew how to say taco, enchilada, and that's about it. But I learned Spanish sitting around the dinner table.
Walsh recently launched the Language Cafe, a 6-week course where people come to eat, drink, and be fluent.
¿Cómo se dice we will know en español? Pero en el futuro. We will. Usando will. Sabremos.
At first glance, the roles of the people in this session might appear reversed. An Anglo teaching Latinos Spanish.
No como decir, I have looked for.
Yo he buscado.
Me gusta.
But within the Latino community is exactly where Walsh saw a need for her services.
And so I began to see this market and began to see that there were so many people, and they would say, oh, I know, I'm so embarrassed, I don't speak Spanish, I should speak Spanish, my last name is Lopez, and can you believe this? And I said, yeah, actually I can. I meet you all the time.
There's a little bit of a maybe shame or, disappointing that we don't speak Spanish and people expect that we should.
So I really was shocked that somebody else besides me had trouble speaking Spanish.
Realtor Wayne Garcia, dentist Rich Garcia, and customer service representative Sylvia Gutierrez and Mary Tejarina share similar stories.
My parents grew up in an era where they were told not to speak Spanish.
If Spanish was taught at home, it was forgotten in school. English was the path to success.
I could speak Spanish, but there's a lot of words that I'm not saying them right.
By being exposed to these classes, it's given us the opportunity to learn the correct language, the correct words.
Solamente necesitas hablar español con más personas.
Montana Walsh is reconnecting these second-generation Hispanic Americans to their past and future through language. She sees herself as el puente between generations and cultures.
Tengo la cara gringa, pero el corazón mexicano. And I'll go, oh, okay. And so that's how I feel like I'm a bridge. That yes, I present myself this way, but I understand the cultures and want to know more.
And that's easy to understand in any language.
Exacto. Muy bien. Tú sabes mucho. Cuñado es como de la calle, de la familia.
You can find out more about the Language Cafe on our website, NBC5i.com, and click on El Puente. There's a major national magazine with Latinas in its view. Coming up, meet the Texan behind the glamorous pictures and inspiring stories. NBC5's El Puente continues after this. A Texas woman is inspiring Hispanics to embrace our heritage and celebrate our style in a national magazine. NBC5 meteorologist Krista Villarreal introduces us to her.
It's a mirror for Latinas in this country. Both, I think women come to the magazine for kind of their cultural fix.
Texan Sylvia Martinez is editor-in-chief of Latina Magazine. The award-winning bilingual magazine targets Hispanic women of America. Each month, readers find everything from articles on the affirmative action debate to home-style recipes.
Okay, here we go.
But what sets Latina Magazine apart is cover girls like film and TV star Constance Marie.
I think they're really proud to be associated with the magazine, and I think that's why we get women we do, people like Jennifer Lopez and Salma Hayek, and we have Rosalind Sanchez on the on the current issue.
It's a hybrid in the sense it's bridging two cultures. It does the whole Latino thing, but it's also American at the same time, which is, I think, a market and a demographic that you never get tapped. I mean, never gets anything that's specifically for it. You have to pick one or the other, and the thing is great. It does both.
Martinez says featuring these successful Latinas sends a powerful message to women of all ages.
Latinas in this country can pick up a magazine, particularly younger Latinas, and say, wow, if she did it, I can do it.
Sylvia's biography would make a great cover story. She grew up in the small South Texas town of Goliad. Sylvia began her career writing for the local weekly newspaper. By the mid-90s, her pen took her to the Dallas Morning News as assistant city editor. Next stop, the Big Apple, and a chance to ensure diverse perspectives are represented at the newsstand.
They're important because they represent the fabric of America, and if, you know, a newsroom or publication or whatever doesn't have Hispanics, you know, or Asians or African Americans for that matter, then they're missing a real portion of the population and not accurately representing what's going on in their communities.
For El Puente, meteorologist Krista Villarreal.
And Krista tells us that Sylvia Martinez is making plans to help the next generation of Latinas. She has established a college scholarship fund for low-income students in her hometown of Goliad. That's all the time we have for now, but thank you so much for joining us for this edition of El Puente. We'll see you next time.